For 3,000 years, the galaxy had known peace. No wars, no battles, no bloodshed. The Sailor Dominion ruled with wisdom, and most species lived without fear. Trade ships moved freely through the stars. Planets grew rich and prosperous. Children learned about ancient wars only as stories. Old machines of war were left in museums, rusting quietly. Every world had learned the value of peace. Earth had changed too. Humans had become explorers, builders, and thinkers. They did not fight like their ancestors once had. Most humans worked in science, agriculture, or space construction. On Earth, cities reached the clouds and floating stations circled the planet. On Mars, small colonies thrived under domes. People had forgotten the sound of cannon fire or the smell of burning metal. For thousands of years, humanity had known peace just like the rest of the galaxy. Then the message came. It arrived first on the outer colonies, sent through deep space channels. The voice that spoke was cold, hard, and unfamiliar. This is the Crayon Horde. All worlds must pay tribute. Resistance will be destroyed. Your peace is over. No one knew where they had come from. They appeared from the darkness beyond the Orion Rift. Their ships were enormous, jagged, and black. They moved fast and without warning. One by one, they destroyed small outposts. They demanded obedience, and they expected the galaxy to obey. The Dominion Council, who had spent centuries solving disputes with words instead of weapons, panicked. Their fleets were old, small, and mostly ceremonial. Peace had left them unprepared for war. Leaders argued over how to respond. Some wanted to beg for mercy. Others suggested hiding behind shields and hoping the Crayon Horde would leave. Fear filled the council chambers. On Earth, the news spread slowly at first. People listened to the radio, watched the news, and read messages from the council. But unlike other worlds, humans did not panic. They did not cry. They did not beg. Instead, a strange smile appeared on their faces. It was quiet, almost secret, but it was there. Captain Laura Briggs stood on the bridge of an old Earth defense ship that had been mothballed for decades. She had grown up hearing stories of the wars long ago, and she knew that humans had survived wars before. She looked at the blinking lights of the control panels and the stars outside. "It is happening again," she said softly. "It is finally time." Her second in command, Ethan Cole, was younger and had never fought in a real war. He had only trained in simulations and drills. But he understood something his commander did not need to explain. Humans did not fear what they could not face. "Then we show them," Ethan said. Laura nodded. She could see the same fire in his eyes that had burned in humans for thousands of years. Across Earth and its colonies, silent preparations began. Old factories on the moon, long converted into scientific labs, began producing weapons again. Bunkers on Mars meant for emergencies opened. Engineers dusted off ancient designs of ships, weapons, and armor. Earth had hidden its strength behind decades of peace, but it had never truly given up the skill to fight. The Crayon Horde moved through space, destroying unprepared worlds. Entire colonies fell in hours. Many species begged for mercy. Some tried to fight, but their fleets were weak, untrained, and afraid. The Horde laughed as they burned cities and killed without hesitation. To them, the galaxy was soft, gentle, and helpless. Humans watched carefully. They did not rush. They did not panic. They learned from the movement of the enemy. They studied the Horde's patterns. The elders remembered stories of human wars from thousands of years ago. They shared strategies, tactics, and lessons that had been almost forgotten. It was not a new skill. They were remembering who they had always been. On Earth, Admiral Jason Ward called together the leaders of the hidden fleets. They met in a secret command room below the surface of the planet. The walls were lined with screens showing ships, star maps, and enemy movements. The room smelled faintly of oil, metal, and heated circuits. Every face in the room was serious but calm. "Fear had no place here. The galaxy believes humans are weak," Ward said. His voice was low but firm. "They believe peace has softened us. They are wrong. They have forgotten what we can do. Today we remind them." A young officer, Rachel Miller, asked nervously, "Admiral, what if we are not enough? The Crayon Horde is powerful. Their ships are huge, their weapons advanced." Ward smiled slightly. "They are strong. That is true. But strength is not the only measure of power. Humans are smart, adaptable, and fearless. We have survived worse than this. Trust in that." Meanwhile, in the outer colonies, human scientists activated a network of satellites. They measured enemy movements, analyzed weapons fire, and sent secret data back to Earth. Every piece of information would be used to prepare the humans for the first strike. The galaxy had not seen humans move in war for 3,000 years, but now the preparation began quietly, everywhere. Back on the Earth defense ship, Laura Briggs studied the stars. She thought of all the worlds under threat and all the people who could be saved. "We cannot wait," she said. "If we do, countless lives will be lost. We act now not for glory but for survival." Ethan Cole nodded. "Then let us remind the galaxy why humanity has always survived." Across the stars, alien civilizations watched with disbelief. They had expected humans to beg, hide, or surrender. Instead, they saw signs of quiet preparation. Ships were moving. Fleets were gathering. Weapons were being built. The humans were smiling, not in fear, but in anticipation. The Crayon Horde did not understand this. They had never faced humans before. They had never seen a species that seemed calm in the face of certain death. To them it was strange, almost foolish. But the truth was that humans had remembered something that others had forgotten. War was not just destruction. War was courage, unity, and determination. On Earth, families watched their sons and daughters, their husbands and wives, prepare for the unknown. They did not cry or beg. They waved, hugged, and whispered encouragement. "Go and show them what we are," they said. "Go and bring hope." Children who had grown up without fear now learned a new lesson. That courage does not need anger. It does not need hatred. It only needs the heart to act when it is necessary. And so across Earth and its colonies, humans moved silently. Ships that had been museum pieces were tested. Pilots trained in zero gravity, in simulators, in mock battles. Engineers worked day and night to improve weapon systems. Tactics from old wars were studied and adapted. No one questioned what was happening. Everyone knew it was time. The first signal came from the edge of the solar system. The Crayon Horde had entered human space. Their fleet was enormous, their black ships blotting out the stars in some sectors. They sent messages demanding surrender. "Give yourselves," the message said. "We will destroy all resistance." Captain Laura Briggs received the message calmly. She turned to Ethan Cole. "They think we will beg. They think we will run. They are wrong." Ethan nodded. "Then we fight. That is what we do." And for the first time in 3,000 years, humans prepared for war. The galaxy had grown soft, and the Crayon Horde believed it could conquer the stars without challenge. But humanity was ready. They had spent centuries in peace, yes, but their courage, their skill, and their fire had only grown stronger. Across the stars, other species began to notice the strange signals. Humans were smiling. They were calm. And they were moving quietly, efficiently, and with purpose. The galaxy had forgotten the power of human determination. It was about to be reminded. Captain Briggs looked out the window of the ship at the black sky, dotted with stars. "They do not know us," she said. "They do not know what it means to face a human who will not surrender. They will learn." Ethan looked beside her. "And we will be ready." On Earth, in the secret bunkers and factories, in the orbiting stations and underground hangars, humans continued their preparations. Ships, weapons, and warriors were readying themselves for the first encounter. Across the galaxy, the Crayon Horde continued its march, expecting easy victories, but the humans had remembered. They had remembered the courage of their ancestors, the skill of their engineers, and the determination that had allowed them to survive against impossible odds. They were ready, and for the first time in thousands of years, the galaxy would see the true face of humanity in war. The calm before the storm was ending. The galaxy thought it was peaceful. The Crayon Horde believed it was safe. But the humans were smiling. And a smile can hide the sharpest blade. And so 3,000 years of peace were ending. War had returned, and humanity was ready to meet it. The Crayon Horde moved closer to the inner planets. Their fleet was massive, black ships stretching across millions of kilometers. They believed Earth would surrender quickly. Every world had surrendered so far. Every species had begged for mercy. But humans were not like the others. On the bridge of the human command ship Aegis Dawn, Captain Laura Briggs watched the monitors. Stars streaked past as the ship jumped through the outer lanes. Every ship in the fleet was moving carefully, silently, and in perfect formation. The humans had not revealed their full strength yet. They were preparing for the moment when the Horde would see who they were dealing with. Ethan Cole stood beside Laura, watching the enemy fleet appear on the holographic map. There are hundreds of them, he said quietly. Do we have enough? Laura smiled slightly. Enough to remind them we fight differently. Strength is not only in numbers, it is in strategy. They do not know how humans think. Across the colonies, other human fleets were moving. Ships that had once been considered museum relics were now alive with power. Weapon systems, once silent for centuries, hummed with energy. Engineers and technicians worked day and night to test them. Every weapon, every ship, every soldier was ready. Humans did not rush blindly into battle. They had waited, learned, and prepared. The first reports came from the asteroid belts. The Horde's scouts were destroyed silently, their ships falling one by one into traps humans had set weeks before. Alien species watching from their stations were shocked. No one had ever seen such precision. No one had ever seen a species strike with patience and cunning at the same time. Captain Briggs called a meeting of her senior officers. Maps of enemy movements floated above the table in blue light. The Horde believes the galaxy is weak, she said. They are wrong. Every world that fears them is watching now. Our actions must show them the strength humans still have. Ethan studied the maps. Their main fleet is massive. If we attack directly, we could be destroyed. Laura nodded. We will not attack directly. Humans fight smarter. We will split into smaller units, hit them where they are weakest, and vanish before they can respond. Hit, disappear, hit again. That is how humans survive. Elsewhere on Mars, young pilots prepared their ships. They had trained for years, but this would be their first real battle. Some were scared, but none showed it outwardly. They remembered the stories of Earth's ancient wars, of courage in the face of impossible odds. They remembered the faces of those who had fought before. They remembered that humans never gave up. Engineer Daniel Price inspected a small fleet of fighters on the Mars hangar floor. The ships were older models, retrofitted with new weapons. He touched the hull of one, a ship named Swift Arrow, and whispered, "It is your turn now. Don't fail us." The ship would not respond, but Daniel felt as if it did. Humans had a way of speaking to machines like they were partners, not tools. The first strike came at dawn. The Crayon Horde moved into the belt between Mars and Jupiter, unaware that human ships waited in the shadows. The attack was silent. Scouts moved in from every angle, dropping small explosive charges near the enemy's engines. Systems overloaded, ships exploded before anyone could react. The Horde sent messages demanding surrender. Earth did not reply. Instead, more explosions followed. Alien news stations broadcast the events across the galaxy. Unbelievable, one commentator said. The humans strike with precision and disappear. They are like ghosts. Another replied, they are not just fighting. They are teaching the galaxy a lesson in courage. Back on the Aegis Dawn, Laura Briggs studied the feed from the strike. She did not smile. There was no joy in battle, but she felt satisfaction. Humans had waited for this moment for centuries, and now they had returned to war. She sent a short message to the fleets. Hold formation. Keep silent. Move as one. Show them what humans can do. Ethan Cole watched the monitors tracking the enemy fleet as they scrambled. They are trying to regroup, he said. Do we chase them? Laura shook her head. Not yet. Let them think they can recover. Then we hit again. Faster. Harder. Smarter. They will learn the difference between fear and respect. Meanwhile, on one of the destroyed colonies, survivors were rescued by human ships. Families clung to each other as they boarded the transports. They had watched the Horde destroy their homes, and now humans had saved them. Ethan Cole oversaw one of the evacuations. Children held tightly to their parents as they were escorted to safety. A little girl looked up at him and whispered, "Why do you fight them?" Ethan smiled gently. "Because we cannot let others suffer like this. We do what we can to protect the innocent." The girl nodded. "Humans are brave," she said. Ethan felt a warmth inside him. He knew it was not bravery that made humans dangerous. It was the willingness to act even when fear was real. The Crayon Horde was confused. They had fought many species across the galaxy, but none had moved like this. None had struck with intelligence, patience, and strength combined. The humans did not fight with rage. They fought with purpose. They did not retreat. They planned. They waited. And when they acted, they struck with precision that left no enemy safe. On Earth, Admiral Jason Ward reviewed the reports. Every strike, every sabotage, every evacuation had been successful. The galaxy began to talk about humans in hushed tones. Some called them reckless. Others called them ghosts. Many species began to wonder if they had underestimated the blue planet. War did not celebrate. There was still much work to do. The horde was massive and the humans were still small in number. But for the first time in centuries, hope returned. Captain Briggs received a coded message from a Dominion Council member. "Humans, please do not interfere. The horde is too powerful. If you fight them, countless lives will be lost." Laura read the message and laughed softly. "They do not understand," she said. "We do not fight for glory. We fight to survive and we fight to protect. The galaxy may fear us, but the horde will learn why humans never surrender." Ethan watched as the next set of operations began. More ships left Earth, Moon, and Mars. Small teams were assigned to disable supply lines, intercept reinforcements, and create confusion among the horde. Every strike was planned, every detail calculated. Humans were using centuries of peace to their advantage. While other species had grown soft, humans had used the quiet years to learn, improve, and prepare. In the midst of all this, young pilots on Jupiter's moons practiced maneuvers in secret. Some had never left their homeworlds before. Others had studied old star charts, tactics manuals, and battle histories. Every one of them understood one simple truth. Humans had survived every war before, and they would survive this one too. Daniel Price oversaw a new weapon system being tested in orbit around Saturn. He watched the energy pulse through the ship and felt it respond perfectly. "It's ready," he said. "When the time comes, it will be our edge." Engineers on other ships nodded. Every system, every pilot, every soldier was ready to show the galaxy what humans were capable of. Weeks passed, and the humans continued their strikes. The Crayon horde tried to adjust, but every move was countered. Humans had learned to fight in ways the horde could not anticipate. Entire squadrons of enemy ships vanished without warning, while human fleets appeared just long enough to strike again. Alien species began sending messages to Earth asking for help. The humans did not charge into every battle. They chose carefully. They struck where it mattered most, saving lives while weakening the horde. Captain Briggs received a report of a small colony under attack. Hundreds of people were trapped by the horde. She called Ethan Cole. "We cannot let them die." "Prepare the rescue fleet." Ethan nodded. "Yes, ma'am. We will go, but it will be dangerous." Laura smiled faintly. "Humanity has always taken risks for what is right. That is why we survive." The fleet left Earth orbit and jumped into enemy territory. Every pilot knew the stakes. They moved silently through the darkness, avoiding sensors and patrols. When they reached the colony, the horde was waiting. Hundreds of ships surrounded the planet. It seemed impossible, but humans did not hesitate. They attacked from unexpected angles, using maneuvers that the enemy could not predict. Transport ships slipped through the blockade, carrying civilians to safety. Fighters created diversions, drawing enemy ships away. The colony was saved. Not a single civilian died. Humans had taken risks, yes, but their planning, courage, and unity had won the day. Back on Earth, messages of gratitude poured in from across the galaxy. The humans had reminded everyone that courage and intelligence could overcome even the greatest odds. Captain Briggs looked at the newsfeed, watching reports of humans helping, striking, and surviving. She did not smile for herself. She smiled because humanity had remembered what it meant to fight, to protect, and to survive. Ethan Cole sat beside her. "They are starting to respect us," he said. "Maybe even fear us," Laura nodded. "They will learn. Humanity has been patient, but patience has limits. We will show the galaxy what we are capable of, not because we enjoy war, but because we never back down when the innocent are in danger." And so, the humans continued their war against the Crayon horde. They were few in number compared to the massive enemy fleet, but they were clever, brave, and united. Other species began to follow their example. Slowly,